I know that your family's very close. You're close to your dad. We all love watching your dad over the years and all that. But this last year, you and your dad had a little flare up. We watched on TV, and tell me a little bit about that. I mean, what was going on there?
Which one you're talking about?
Which one?
Well, it just seems like this year more than I just don't know if he's cut his wings and it's become more competitive now that you're really running full on and he doesn't feel like he has to be right there with you. You've stepped out of your shell, I guess, and you're on your own pretty much. And now it seems like it seems like there's a little bit of a competitive nature between the two of you there at the racetrack, and tempers have kind of flared up a little bit at times. Talk about that a little bit, because that he's still dad, and I know you love him to death, but you guys do get pretty competitive at the track.
Yeah, I think this year's been a little more of a challenge. I think for the two of us, it is kind of weird to work, with a parent. He's my boss, but he's also my competitor, and he's my father. So it is a strange kind of combination. But the first year when I first moved into Funny Car, there was so much stuff that had gone on. I mean, only a few races into my season was Eric's accident, and going through all of that, and then Dad's accident, and then he was really out of the loop for a while in the hospital and struggling to get back to his health back in place and his strength back. And while all that was going on for him, I was learning my way around this race car and working with my team, becoming very close with my crew chiefs and my team. And, now this year's really been his comeback year. He's really back to where we remember him being before 2007. And I think he is physically and mentally, and also his team. It took that time to kind of get through those things. And now he's back, to his old self. And it's almost like he doesn't realize this is, 4 years have gone by of me in this Funny Car. And he'll come up sometimes and give me this advice. And it's like, Dad, last night, right before the final session, it was real late at night, great conditions, like track, possible, record-breaking conditions. And we go up to run, and I'm in the car ready to go. And he's like, remember, you got to stage it tight. And it's just, my team laughs because it's like everybody knows you have to stage shallow when you qualify. You have to just barely bump it in there to stage your car if you want to, to get the best CT. And I know that. I've known that since day one. I've known it for 4 years. And it's funny he's like so critical. Like he had to get up there and tell me, or I might not do it. I might just roll right on in and, deep stage. I don't know. And it's just those little moments where he's only trying to help. But I think he doesn't realize that, a lot of years have gone by. They've flown by with everything that's happened. And he's still thinking we're in the learning stage. But and there's plenty for me to learn, don't get me wrong. It's just some of the funny things that he says. He's an amazing driver. But as far as his communication skills, that's probably, he's great at talking, but I don't know if teaching would be the right path for him to ever go down, because he has so much info that he wants to get across, and he tells you at like 300 miles an hour, but he also tells you when they're like getting ready to start the car and you have your helmet in your gear and you can't hear half of what he's saying, so you're trying to read his lips. And that's just kind of the craziness that is dad that we all know and love. But at times when you're the daughter, everybody else can laugh where I'm the one going, I'm going to wring his neck later. He's driving me crazy. So it's been fun. It has been, some ups and downs this year, but nothing like, we've gone through way worse together. So I think the competition up and down, those are the fun ones.
We're talking here with Ashley Force Hood. You've seen her in the Funny Car running a Ford. Ashley, that would be very tough to work alongside of your father. I envy you in some ways and don't envy you in others. But, hey, I did want to ask you, how much have you guys missed John Medlin? I know that he was a big part of your team for a number of years. How much have you missed him?
It's very different to see him up there on the starting line in a different uniform. It is hard to get used to him, and we miss him. We still get to see him and talk with him. Just the other night here in Sonoma, they have a dinner event called the Eric Medlin Nitro Night, and the money goes towards the Speedway Children's Charities. And we've done it every year since Eric's accident, and it's always a neat kind of little get-together. A lot of the drivers will come out and do Q&A, and we tell funny stories about Eric. And John was there, obviously, the other night. He's been there every night with his wife, and, to get to visit with them and kind of mingle. And it is different. You're used to them being on your team. Now they're a competitor, but they're still a good friend. And, we've been through so much with him. I like to see that he's kind of getting a fresh start and can kind of get a breath of fresh air from everything and with a new team. So we still get to see him out there a lot. He still has a lot of, just like us, all the safety that, we worked so hard on after the accidents. He's now able to take over to another team that has the finances and that support to do great things as well. So I think it's a benefit to everybody in the sport to kind of to have him over there because he has that drive to make these cars safer. And I think we need people like that in the sport because it's easy to kind of, when things happen to go, well, it won't happen again or, things are better and you can never get lax like that. You have to keep working and keep thinking, a few steps ahead. And he's definitely one that will always do that. So, but we do miss him. It is strange to see him over there, but he always waves high and always gives us a thumbs up. And so it's neat to see him up there doing well.